YouTube. It is the Nutty Knife Guy. I am about 90% recovered. Still getting tired a little easier, but I'm pretty much back to doing what I used to do on a daily basis. Sunday, weather permitting, excuse me, I will make my hopefully triumphant, return to the war post, and I will do my lovely Jed Hordbeak made self-designed Selkirk fighting knife. But I'm not going to do that today. The first thing I want to do is announce the winner of my giveaway that I started before I had my health problems and my little ride in an ambulance. I have selected a winner, and that winner is Brenda Johnson. She was the designate of my random number generator. What I did is I just used a random number generator, counted down my list of the people who commented on the video, the giveaway video, and she was the one that met the criteria. So Brenda, if you're out there, shoot me your contact information, your address, and I will send a signed copy of my novel, The Fate of Nations Fireteam Alpha Book 1, and the K-bar knife, which I have to go off camera to get. The K-bar IFB Trail Point. I still have no idea what IFB stands for, but there it is, still in the box. I reviewed it, of course. Well, not this one, but the one I bought for myself. So Brenda Johnson, you're the winner. Send me your stuff, and I will send that winging, rolling, or any combination thereof your way. The rest of this video is going to be kind of waxing philosophic. A couple of weeks ago now, I think it was Scab did over at Choir Boys Cutlery did a thing about his thoughts on self-defense. So I'm going to throw my 2 cents into that discussion, and it is just a discussion. Okay. I'm not trying to rebut him. I'm not trying to contradict him. Everything he said in that video was essentially correct. I'm just going to kind of come at it from a different point of view. First of all, my channel, when it comes to self-defense, I really don't like to use that term in the way that it is normally used. In my mind, self-defense is when you have actually got into a situation where you have to physically defend yourself because you are being attacked. Right? I prefer to use the term personal protection and self-defense separately. I think they mean 2 different things. Personal protection, in my mind, is things like is making yourself less likely to be attacked by not putting yourself in vulnerable situations. And that is kind of a mindset, a personal protection mindset. Protection, it's proactive. You're doing things to prevent yourself from ever having to use your firearm, your personal protection, your self-defense knife, or your martial arts skills, or whatever it is. And that's the common sense things that people tell you about. I mean, you lock your doors when you go out of the house. That's personal protection. You lock your doors when you go to bed. That's personal protection, because it makes it harder for you to actually be an attack. You are preempting an attack by putting a barrier between you and a potential attacker. Same thing when you lock your car. When you park right under a street light, if you're out at night, and then lock your car. Having a flashlight with you to check behind the seat to make sure there's no ne'er-do-wells back there. Right? All of these things prevent you from having to defend yourself, to practice self-defense, because you're practicing personal protection. Okay? I have heard it before, like I said, my background is law enforcement, private security, and a smattering of martial arts. And on my channel, I tend to evaluate the knives that I review as weapons first, and I do some minor bushcraft stuff, so you know if they can do that or not. The idea is yes, can you use them as a personal protection tool? I mean, as a self-defense tool, if your personal protection fails, right? But you can also use them for a variety of utility things. I try to evaluate my knives to make sure they can do what the most people will actually wind up doing with their knives. Okay. Now, so yeah, with my shtick here is basically edged weapons first, and then bushcraft and utility later. That's not to say that I think that the weaponry is, evaluating those weapons is better. That's just what I do. And I'm getting a fair number of subscribers. I'm approaching 250. Another giveaway, 300. So some people like what I'm doing, and that's great. Now, I carry a knife specifically for personal protection. I also am licensed to legally carry a firearm. I carry one every day. Right? Right. So, now having said that, do I think that I am likely going to be put in a situation where I have to use either of those tools to defend myself? Probably not. I live in a very safe area. I live in a little town, 4,000 or 5,000 people. Violent crime is rarity, but it is not entirely unheard of. 3 or 4 years ago, drug deal went bad, and there was some guy killed and left in the street for kids on their way to school to find 2 streets over for where I am right now. Okay? But that's the exception, not the rule. But there's the old saying, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Okay, so yes, not only do I carry a knife that I carry specifically for self-defense, and not only that, but I paid a fantastic knife maker a pretty nice sum of money to design for a purposely designed fighting knife. I designed this for an EDC fighter, right? Hoping and praying I never have to use it for what it was designed for. So, I consider it my mission in life never have to use my firearm, never have to use my knife. But I do realize that in this world, there is a chance, a slim chance, but not as slim as it once was, that I might have to defend myself using whatever tool. Now, I carry a gun and a knife, yes. I laugh as hard as anybody else when they say, never bring a knife to a gunfight. I think that should be modified. Never bring only a knife to a gunfight. Why not have a knife and a gunfight? Because there are some self-defense situations where a gun is not the right tool. That's a whole nother video. Right. But I've practiced personal protection so I never have to practice self-defense. Lock my doors. Lock my car doors. Right. Don't let people I don't know within arm's reach of myself, so I have a reactionary gap. Right? Let people know that I know they're there. So if they are a predator, they know I'm paying attention, they're going to go look for a victim who is not paying attention. I don't walk through parking lots with my face down stuck in my cell phone. Right? My eyes are out, so I know what's going on. Not only does that deter a potential attack, it might save me from tripping over a curb or getting hit by a car. If you're a husband and the wife sends you out on a 2 a.m. Cheeto run, you come out of the convenience store, right? Right? You don't have your phone in here. You do know where your keys are, so you can get to them quickly, right? You see somebody that doesn't look quite right to you, just kind of sets off your spidey sense, pay attention to that. Right? That way, right? Maybe you go back in the store, pretend like you forget something, come back out 5 minutes later, see if the unsavory character has gone away. If not, make sure, right? Keep an eye on him. Hopefully he sees that you know he's there, that he's not going to be able to take you by surprise. You never have to use your knife, your gun, your baton, your 10th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Right? You have avoided that. You have practiced personal protection, and you did not have to practice self-defense. Okay? That's point one. Point two on self-defense. Just because you have a gun, you have a knife, you have your black belt in Taekwondo, does not give you the license to be an asshole. Now, I am not a lawyer, I'm not a legal expert, check your local laws, make sure. But in most cases, the justification for using any kind of lethal weapon, even if you're using a tire iron, if you're swinging it at somebody's head, that's lethal force. In most jurisdictions, not a lawyer, like I said. Okay? And in most cases, and once again, I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, this is just my experience. Right? In most cases, the justification for using deadly force of any kind is that it has to be a reasonable threat that you are going to suffer grievous bodily harm, broken bones, severe lacerations, something that is going to disable you, or it's going to kill you. Severe harm or death. Right? If the situation does not call for that, you cannot use a lethal. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what happened there, but my camera shut off. Hopefully that won't happen again, but I'll splice it together. Anyway, so death or grievous bodily harm. Right? Now here is the big one, and this kind of drives me crazy because in martial arts, and I've heard this in gun stores and places that sells knives, knife shows and stuff like that. Somebody has their $300 Microtech or their $20 Walmart knife, and I carry this every day. And if anybody swings on me or tries to punch me, I ain't in a fight, I'll just stab him. And I hear this with guns too. I'm not going to fight anybody. I carry a gun. I'm just going to shoot him. You will go to prison. Getting punched in the face is not grievous bodily harm. It is not a threat of death. It's getting punched in the face. Right? You need to know how to fight with these, the tools God gave you. The only time you get out the tools that man made is when somebody is trying to kill you. Now, somebody has you in a chokehold, trying to squeeze the life out of you, and you can't get out of it any other way. Yeah, you may be justified, but I still say you need to know how to fight. Now, if you're like an 81-year-old dude and your bones will snap like a pencil, then yeah, you're going to get more leeway from a prosecutor and a jury. But chances are, if you use a weapon against somebody that does not have a weapon, you're probably going to get arrested. Like I said, if you're like really old and you need that equalizer, yeah, you might avoid jail time, but it's going to be a problem. Now, you're probably going to get arrested no matter what age you are, if you use your personal protection tool, at least until the cop and the prosecutor can sort out what really happened. But the point is that you cannot just get into a fight and start losing, or get into a fight and just because you don't know how to fight, pull the sharp pointy thing or the bang bang thing and not have any legal repercussions. Right? And it, like I said, it does not give you the license to be an asshole carrying something like that. If you have your black belt in Taekwondo and you pick a fight with somebody, you start a fight, and you use your Taekwondo to kill him or hospitalize him, you're going to prison. Scenario, you're in a fender bender, right? Not much damage to the car, nobody's hurt. But you get out of your car and you start screaming at the guy. You know, if you can't drive it, park it. You're a friggin' idiot. You know, and these kids are there in the car and you're cussing him and he's cussing you. You know, right? Somebody starts shoving, you know, starts pushing the other guy around, and hands are thrown. Punches are thrown, right? And you start getting your ass kicked. At this point, even if you think you're a threat of grievous bodily harm or death, and you pull out your, you know, your Microtech or your Smith & Wesson and cap the guy, you're still going to prison. Yes, you are now in threat of... Okay, going to be a lot of splicing because I forgot to dump the memory on the camera and it was full. So you're going to see little gaps in here when I splice all these segments together. Okay, so in this scenario with the car, right, even though you start losing that fight and this guy might kill you or put you in the hospital for a couple of days or weeks, if you use your Taekwondo or your knife or your firearm or whatever it is you do, and you kill him or put him in the hospital for an extended stay, you're going to prison. Why? Because you got out of your car and started screaming at him and you initiated that conflict. Now, if you both survive this conflict, will he get maybe assault charges or something like that? Sure, you're both going to prison. But the thing of it is, you did not have to get out of your car. You did not have to start screaming, right? And if you hadn't done that, then the reason for you having to deploy your self-defense tool, your gun, your knife, or whatever, would never have occurred. You could have gone out, done the right thing, you know, get the insurance information, exchange contact information, wait for the cop to come. But no, you lost your cool. That is not self-defense. That's starting a fight, starting to get your ass kicked, and panicking. So one of these people, and they're out there. I've seen them. I'll just shoot the guy. I'll just stab the guy, because I was too lazy to know how to fight. Going to prison. Okay? Well, it's better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6. Well, you could do the common sense and behave like a decent, civilized human being and not have to worry about having either done. Right? So, personal protection here. Okay? And then, the last thing I want to talk about is fighting knives. Okay. I actually just got done managing my collection, and I don't have a utility knife with me. Well, I do. I guess I do. Yes, I do. I was looking around the table and I have one in my pockets. Okay. This is my Kershaw Walmart special I got for Christmas. This is my around the house EDC everyday use knife. Okay, and it needs a cleaning. But any knife that you can be any knife is a fighting knife if you're fighting with it, okay? It's just that some are a little bit better than others. Now, this one, as this type of knife goes, this is not meant for a fighting knife, but it's got some attributes it does. It's got a kind of a finger guard here so you don't slide up and cut yourself. It deploys nicely. It's got a good grip. Sticks out a little bit. It's got a glass breaker, but it's not a fighting. This is just around the house, what I use it for. Opening boxes, stuff like that. That's what this is for. But if you are forced into a self-defense situation where your life is on the line, could you use this? Yes. Right? And then you have something like this, which I designed and had made to be a fighting knife. An EDC fighting knife. The EDC part of this is, yes, I carry it every day, but you can use some utility work with it. I haven't taken it out to test it yet, but the recurves, if they're sharp, usually make really good feather sticks. I'm pretty sure that if you hold it like so, this could be a decent chopper, even though it's not that long. But primarily, it's a fighter. It's got the sub hilt. It's got a long guard on it. The recurve for the good deep cuts. The profile is such that the thickest part of the blade is the center of the blade for good strong thrusting. Okay. But as I said, law enforcement, martial arts, private security, you know, and I am of course the nutty knife guy. Right? But carrying this does not mean that I'm going to go around looking for reasons to use it. I like having a piece of artwork. This is a work of art. Jed's the man, Jed Hornbeak. Right? I'm going to be sending him some more business. I love it. And like I said, weather permitting Sunday, I'm going to go out there and really get out there. I can't wait to get out to the war post with this thing after my illness. I have done some drills with it and started moving around. It's fantastic. But the point of this video is, yes, I carry a knife. I do not use that knife for anything but the event, except for the chance that I may have to use it to defend myself, even though I do carry a firearm. Right? A firearm is not always the best tool. Right. If you're in a crowded restaurant and something happens, you do not want to go slinging around bullets. I practice pretty regularly. I'm a pretty good shot. Right. But I am not perfect. And I'm not Jerry Michalak, if I'm pronouncing those right. I'm not John Wick. Right. If I start capping off in a crowded restaurant or a crowded place, I might miss. I might be better off, if the circumstances dictate it, using a knife, using empty hand skills. Right? So there's this on the internet especially, but you hear there's this idea that a gun or a knife or something like that will solve every problem. But the thing of it is, you should keep those problems from ever presenting themselves. Just simple things. Pay attention to what you're doing. Lock your doors. Know where the exit is. And the last thing I really want to get is ego. Especially for men, but I've seen it happen for women too. Your ego is not an excuse to use your knife, your gun, whatever. Guys, your pride is not worth going to prison for, and it's not worth doing harm to someone else. Right? Again, let's go back to the fender bender scenario. Right? This time, this guy gets out of the car and starts screaming and yelling at you. Well, I'm sorry, sir. You know, right? Let's just get our insurance information. Call the police. I'm not waiting for the police. I'm going to kick your ass. You're an idiot. My kids are in that car. You almost killed us. Okay. If your car is drivable, and we're just talking about a fender bender, right? Get back in your car. Leave. Yeah, fleeing the scene of an accident. Yeah, well, don't necessarily do that. You're not fleeing. Get in your car. Go up the road. Get away from this guy. Call the cops. Listen, I didn't want to stay around. He was belligerent. Right? Send an officer here. This is where I am. We'll go, and then we can go find this guy if he's still there. Okay? Because if you stay there, knowing that the situation might escalate into a point where you have to defend yourself, to me, it's kind of pointless. Okay, your ego is making you stay. Especially if when I was a kid, I think I was in the 6th grade. I got into a shoving match and eventually a fight with some kids 6th grade. But this is indicative, and it's just 6th grade. It was just fishing, fisticuffs, black eyes, fat lip. But I remember this because I was just going to walk away. I had already, I was young then, but I had taken some martial arts, and they were always saying that you don't use this unless you absolutely have to. If you can disengage and get out of there, do that. And that's what I tried to do. And I took about 3 steps, and the guy called me a pussy. And the pride came in, and I turned around, and I wound up getting into a fight that I really didn't need to. I could have just left. That's what you guys gotta understand, right? Why are you going to harm another human being out of pride? Turn your pride off. Especially if you carry weapons every day. Because those weapons can come into play. Even if you use your taekwondo. If you're carrying a weapon, what if he takes it away from you? What if he has friends and it can take it away from you? Just stop and think. I am a knife guy. I'm about a 60% knife guy, 40% gun guy. I like my firearms too. I just don't do a channel on the firearms because I like knives better. But I don't care. I carry my knives. I carry 4 or 5 knives every day, right? A couple of them just because I want to carry them. I don't really, not going to need them for anything, just because I want to carry them. But I live my life in such a way, and these are habits that I just have developed, that I am probably never going to have to use them to defend myself for others. I stay out of situations that might require that. Having said that, I'm human. I can make a mistake. I can get distracted when I'm out. I could forget to lock my door. And there are situations that you just can't avoid. It can happen. I mean, these days we've got maniacs that'll pick a grocery store at random and go in and start shooting. Not a whole lot you can do to avoid that because it's completely random. There's nothing you can do to anticipate that. But I don't seek out those situations. I actively avoid situations where I'm going to have to fight anybody with anything. And when I get up in the morning, I put on... Okay, I don't know what's up with the camera this time because it shut off again. But if you wind up having to defend yourself 99 times out of 100, it's because you have made some mistake. You were not paying proper attention. You used improper tactics when you're parked, And they're tactics. You park your car in a well-lit area. Right? You don't go down dark alleys because it's a shortcut. You don't let strangers approach you within about within 6 or 8 feet. 9 times out of 10, just being aware and seeing potential threats coming can make you can avoid having to defend yourself. Nobody's perfect, and there are situations that are unavoidable, but most of the time they are avoidable. Right? So in that defense, such self-defense is stupid if you have to do it. But everybody's fallible, so you have to be prepared. So I try to be prepared. Now, if you're in law enforcement or in the military, it's a whole different thing. There are situations that you can't avoid because other people have avoided them, and part of them avoiding them is calling you to take care of it. Right? You're out there looking for problems, hoping you don't find any. But if there is a problem, if there's a nut out there with a tire iron threatening somebody else or threatening you, you can't run away if you're in the police or military. You got to deal with it. But when it comes to a civilian context, you're carrying a knife for self-defense, more power to you. I support that. I support your right to have a firearm. But understand, your mission in life should be to never you have to use it. You develop a mindset that you're breaking down the world. Is there a way that it can do that that's less dangerous than another? All right, I'm not going to put my face down on the cell phone so I can't see a threat coming if it happens. Like I said, that could keep you from getting hit by a car or tripping over a curb and breaking a leg. Right? Just have your awareness out there where it belongs. Enjoy the world. You know, park in well-lit areas. Lock your doors. Give yourself a space between someone that you don't know. When you get in the car, don't lock the doors as soon as you get in or drive away. Don't sit there and check your phone. Check your phone while you're sitting in your car. Now, this sounds like a lot to remember, but not really. A lot of us do this kind of stuff, have been doing this kind of stuff your whole life, and it just becomes habit. Locking your doors when you leave, locking your doors at night, locking the doors to your car. A lot of people do that every day out of habit, but you're practicing personal protection when you do those things. Now, there's a lot of videos about situational awareness and these different tactics that are just everyday things that you can do to make yourself safer so you never have to defend yourself, and that's what I'm saying. Right? But if you got to get one of those guys who, well, yo, I was in this bar and got into this fight and did this, oh, no, yeah, or, you know, I was at this party and some guy got in my face and I took him out, you're an idiot. You know? Plain and simple. Right? Well, if somebody tries to punch me, I'll just stab him. Idiot. I'm not fighting anybody. I'll just shoot him. Colossal idiot. Alright, so enough of that. Because this video is long, I'm going to have to splice it because the camera's acting up, or I just don't know how to operate the camera. Take your pick. One last thing, and it kind of goes against my nature to promote the book, Fate of Nations, Fireteam Alpha Book 1, or this one. This is the one that's going out to Brenda Johnson. Brenda, I need your contact information so I can send these goodies out to you. But I am going to have, but promotion is just when you're an author with a small press company, promotion is just the way to do it. This is the Fate of Nations Fireteam Alpha Book 1. There are knives used in it, so it's kind of related to the channel. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo. It's available anywhere, everywhere. I would appreciate it if you haven't already. Some of you have, and thank you. Pick up a copy, read it, tell people about it, give me a review or a rating on Amazon. That is a huge help. 1 or 2 sales can boost my sales rank on Amazon by tens of thousands of rankings, and that makes them more likely to show the book to other people. I would really appreciate it if you did that. I am not going to put sales links down in the description. I'm told YouTube really doesn't like it when you do that. This is not a paid advertisement because I'm not paying myself. I'm just plugging it. But I really appreciate you guys getting some more help. You've been a tremendous help. Every time I mention a book online, I seem to get more sales. It seems to be more effective than anything else I'm doing. So I really appreciate it if you would throw out some support. Also, my stick is law enforcement officers. It seems like I'm reading about a law enforcement, one of my brothers or sisters in blue, being killed every day. Right? Just remember that these guys fight what you fear. And a certain political sector is doing everything they can to make life more dangerous for them. So, back to blue, okay? And with that, one more thing. Brenda Johnson. Need your contact information so I can get that stuff out to you. Now, I bid you goodbye. And remember to draw your knives only in just purpose. Sheathe them only with honor. And to remember that without knives, life would be dull and pointless. Please like, share, and subscribe if you ever mind. The Nutty Knife Guy is on Facebook. That link I will put down below if I remember this time. And I bid you goodbye.